Getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep a night and still waking up feeling groggy. Is quantity equal to quality of sleep?
Welcome to mindfoodsteph, where we talk all things psychology, health, and well-being.
Welcome to part 2 of our sleep series. Now you know about the stages of sleep, let's get into some common problems that people have when it comes to sleeping. Sleep point number 1, quality versus quantity. There's so many different people out there saying you should be getting 7 hours of sleep, 9 hours of sleep. The truth is the recommended amount can range between 7 to 9 hours, but this is individual and depends on how you feel when you have that many hours of sleep. How much sleep you need depends on your chronotype, as well as many other factors such as your work, your family commitments, your biology, and your genetics. The best way to determine how much sleep you need is to trial having different amounts of sleep and see how you feel. One fact is, too little sleep can be just as detrimental as too much sleep, and there is such thing as oversleeping. Research has shown that having only 4 hours of sleep is actually better than having a sleep which is interrupted at regular intervals. Research has also found people who sleep between 6 to 8 hours of sleep a night have a lower mortality rate. So as you can see, the quality of your sleep is much more important than the quantity of your sleep, but both work together. So if you can get both improved, you will have a much better sleep. I strongly believe that the quality of your sleep depends on the time you go to bed. Now, if you tend to stay up late past 11 p.m., typically what happens is your body thinks you need a second surge of cortisol. Now, cortisol is the stress hormone that keeps us awake at night. So have you ever been so tired, but after 11 o'clock, you're suddenly wired and you cannot get to sleep? That's because you've stayed awake past that threshold and your body and your brain think that you need this extra little boost of energy, so your cortisol is elevated. And even though you might be so mentally tired and your eyes feel tired, your brain is awake, and this is when you start thinking of all the things you got to do tomorrow, all the to-do lists, everything comes to mind just before you go to sleep. The other interesting fact is that in Chinese medicine, your gallbladder starts to work at around 11 p.m. at night. And while your gallbladder is working, really you should be in a rest and digest state, but often you can feel this like surge of energy or awakeness, and people mistake that and keep staying awake, but it's actually your gallbladder working. How to improve the quality of your sleep? Step 1, try to go to bed before 11 p.m. because this is before you get that second cortisol burst and your gallbladder starts working. Step 2 is try to have an uninterrupted sleep. In order to do this, try avoid eating or drinking maybe about 3 hours before you go to bed. This includes water. Step 3, make your room as dark as possible. This might include having a sleeping mask, having earplugs, and blocking out any light. Light is detrimental to your sleep, and you want to wake up with the natural sunlight. Those are some basic tips. The final thing is to switch off your mind, engage in journaling, keep a notepad next to your bed, and get everything out onto paper that's on your mind before you go to sleep. Getting things onto paper creates a shift in perception, whereas when we just think about things, it ruminates and it goes around and around and it doesn't really get resolved. So keeping a notepad next to your bed, writing out all the stuff you're thinking about, all the stuff you need to do right before bed will ensure you have a much more restful sleep and a better quality of sleep too. Now, this is so important because in order to wake up feeling refreshed, your sleep needs to be uninterrupted. So like I said earlier, make sure you're not drinking or eating before bed. If you wake up in the middle of the night, do not look at the time. I cannot emphasize this enough. When you look at your phone or an alarm clock all the time, you're actually waking up your brain. If you wake up during the night, simply just roll over and go back to bed. The third biggest problem people have when it comes to sleep is waking up feeling groggy despite sleeping the 6 to 8 hours. Now, this could be one of two things. It could either be number one, they're having an interrupted sleep, which means you're not going to wake up feeling refreshed, or number two, they are snoozing in the morning. Snoozing is the biggest no-no you can do. I am a recovering snoozeaholic, and I understand how good it can feel in the moment. But what happens is when you press snooze, your body is entering into another sleep cycle. Sleep cycles are 90 minutes. And in that 90 minutes, your body goes between non-REM sleep to REM sleep. Now, remembering REM sleep is your rapid eye movement. This is the most active part of your sleep, and this is where you dream and where you process memories. People typically think that REM sleep is the most deepest sleep, but that's not true. When you're in non-REM sleep, that is your deep sleep. And through the 90 minutes, you're circulating between the two. Now, if you wake up in the morning, smack bang in REM sleep, so when you're dreaming and when you're in that real active state, you will wake up feeling exhausted. Have you ever woken up in the middle of a dream and you're like, whoa, I think I need to go back to sleep and finish that dream because I feel like I haven't slept at all? That's because you are waking up when your brain is the most active, and it takes a lot of emotions, it takes a lot of mental energy, and you've interrupted that and you've woken up during that stage 4 REM sleep. So that could be one reason you're waking up groggy. Another reason you're waking up groggy is because, like I said, you're pressing snooze. Why is snoozing so bad? When you press snooze, which is turning off your alarm for say 15 minutes, you are telling your body to go to sleep. And that is what it does. Your body enters a sleep cycle. And like I said, your sleep cycles are meant to go for 90 minutes. But the problem is you hit snooze again. So you wake up and your brain's like, what the hell is going on? I'm meant to be sleeping. And your body's like, but I'm meant to be awake. And then your brain's like, but I need to get to work. And then what happens is when you actually get out of bed, you enter into a state called sleep inertia. Sleep inertia is when your brain is pretty much still asleep, but your body is going to work, it's moving. Have you ever had one of those days and you're like, I need a coffee with 3 shots because I feel like I'm still asleep? It is because you are. Your brain has entered sleep inertia, and it can take up to 4 hours. 4 hours to feel normal again after you have snoozed. If you snooze, you lose. So you need to quit this habit. When you first start quitting snoozing, it is difficult and it will feel really challenging. But once you get the pace of it, and after about a week, you will start to reap the benefits and you will feel refreshed and so much more productive during the day, and you won't need coffee to function. If you are a recovering snoozeaholic like me, set yourself a goal to not snooze for 1 whole week. Do not press snooze. The minute your alarm goes off, get up and move your body. Setting your alarm to the last brink, like 7:30 a.m., then setting your alarm to 7 a.m. so you have 30 minutes of snooze time. You're going to feel more refreshed. You're actually going to get up out of bed because it is the last brink that you have to wake up. And I promise you're going to feel so much better. Another strategy I use to avoid the snooze, because I don't trust myself in the morning, is I literally put my phone on the other side of the room. So I physically have to get up and turn my alarm off. I hate myself for about 5 seconds, but it works and it gets me out of bed. You can't trust your tired self, so make sure you chuck your phone on the other side of the room so you can quit snooze. Your homework this week is to keep a journal of your thoughts and feelings before bed. So last week you tracked the hours, the dreams, and your sleep. But this week, we're going to take it a step further. And what I want you to do is write down anything that's on your mind that you think about before you go to sleep. Writing things down creates a shift in perception, and we are able to process things more effectively. So give that a go this week, and we'll check in next time.